Hey, good morning, learners. All right, so we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to look at someone else's argument. And to begin our work with that, we're going to do a soapstone. And I know that this is, for most of you anyway, not your first experience with soapstone, but I think you'll find I do it a little differently, perhaps, than maybe some of your former teachers. So I'm going to walk through this with you. We are going to read an article. Let me get to it. On test retakes. All right. And this is a teacher making a case for not allowing test retakes. And so we're going to read through and we're going to take our first steps into analyzing his argument. Okay. So going back here, and it's a rather short article, guys. Okay. And so we're going to use Soapstone as kind of our entry point into our initial analysis. And that's how I want you guys to perceive Soapstone in my classes. It's a tool that we use to initially begin our analysis of text. All right. And so with that, Soapstone is an acronym. Okay. And this is how I approach it. Okay. And so here on the left is the element. Uh, so like speaker, occasion, audience, purpose, subject, and tone. I pose a question: who is the speaker? What are the circumstances surrounding the text, etc. Okay. And your job is to, after you have read the text, and even I would even preview these before you actually read the text so you know what you're looking for. You have to write a complete sentence answer to the question. So, who is the speaker? You have to write your answer in a complete sentence. And then you have to provide what I call discovery quotes, okay? And essentially, these are quotes, but I call them discovery quotes because I want you thinking about this a little differently. A discovery quote um, uh, is an indicator of where you were in the text when you made your discovery. So, where did you discover who the speaker was? All right. Where did you discover what the occasion was? Okay. Um, where did you discover who the audience is for this? Okay. And I want you to provide a quote for that. Okay. It looks a little like this. And this is an example from a different article from a different time, but it gives you a sense, hopefully, of kind of what I'm looking for. And so please use my example, all right? And there is a link to this right here where it says size example. And so link to this, all right, and see what I have done. Now, for speaker, you may not find something exactly in the article, all right? And so you may have to Google the author's name. Here you'll discover that this is a teacher. Here you'll discover that he's a high school math teacher. All right. And so I would use those to help back up where you discovered or how you discovered who the speaker is. Okay. And so I go all the way through and I give examples. The two that we're going to pay particular attention to today are purpose and tone. And I will speak to those in just a moment. All right. So I'm just going to walk you through Soapstone here really quickly. The speaker, that part should be pretty straightforward. Okay. Um, the occasion, I'm going to pause here for a moment because occasion and purpose, while similar, are not the same things. Okay. And so the occasion is what's going on, like what's going on in the world, what's the context. Okay. Why did the writer or the speaker or the author do this in the first place? Okay. And so, for example, let's say that John and Sally are boyfriend girlfriend. All right. Sally dumps John. Okay. Um, because Sally dumped John, all right, John wrote her a love song. Okay. Now, that is the occasion. The reason he wrote the love song is because Sally dumped him. Okay. Now, purpose comes into play when we talk about, well, what was the purpose of the love song? All right. The purpose of the love song is to express his undying love for Sally and to hopefully get her back. All right. To persuade her to come back to him. Okay. So please don't confuse occasion with purpose. All right. Purpose is what, or occasion is what caused you to write it. Purpose is what you're trying to accomplish with it. Like, what is their hope? What are they trying to do? What are they trying to bring about? All right. So that is the difference, subtle difference between occasion and purpose. So please don't confuse those two. Um, for audience, okay, so here you're going to ask yourself, why did this high school math teacher write this in the first place? Like, what's going on in the world that prompted him to write this? Okay, audience, this is not just like anybody that we pull out of our hat. All right, who is the target audience for this? Okay, be specific. Consider age, gender, along with other cultural and social factors. Okay, and please, please, please avoid answers like the reader and everyone. Okay, just because somebody's reading this doesn't necessarily mean they were a part of the target audience. Okay, if a 40, if I read Twilight, all right, um, you know, that does not mean that I was a member, and I don't read Twilight, by the way, but just using this as an example, all right? I was not a part of Stephanie Meyer's, I think that's her name, target audience. She did not write this with 49-year-old men in mind, okay? And so just because I read it doesn't mean I was a part of the target audience. So think about, for whom did the author intend this to primarily be targeted towards, or whom did he or she primarily seek to target with their work, all right? So that's what I want you thinking about. Who's the target audience? Purpose. Now, here I want you to use a resource that I'm providing for you, and there's a link to it up here above, okay, right here, and this is what it looks like, okay? Oops. There are 6 real world writing purposes that I want you to select from, okay? They are express and reflect, inform and explain, evaluate and judge, inquire and explore, analyze and interpret, and then take a stand, propose a solution, okay? Now, be careful with inform and explain. Oftentimes kids pick this because, well, this is information, but they're not just doing this to inform and explain. They have purposes bigger than that, all right? If you're thinking inform and explain, think textbook or encyclopedia, okay, where they're just simply giving information. There's no judgment there. There's no other ulterior motive. Okay, they're just simply providing information. So think about that carefully, and don't just choose an inform and explain because it's information. All right. So please use one of these. All right, and then um, finally getting down, well, not quite, to subject. All right, what is the topic? There could be multiple topics, but generally there's a topic that's kind of centrally addressed. Okay, I think this one is pretty straightforward. And then finally, tone. And I want you guys to pay attention to this one. Okay, what is the author's tone or attitude? Remember, tone. An easy way to think about that is tone is just the attitude that we take towards something when we speak about it or we write about it. Okay, chances are you've had mom or dad say, "Please don't take that tone with me." All right, and they're not talking about what you said, but how you said it. Okay, and I think we know this. We've had experience with this. All right, so I'm also providing a resource here. There's a link to it up above. It's this one right here, and it provides 155, darn it, 155 different words to describe an author's tone. Okay, and because there are 155, and because there are subtle differences between and among them, okay, I really want you to think carefully about the tone that you're selecting. There can be multiple tones, all right, but I want you to find one that you can support, all right, or maybe it's kind of like a general tone or a pervasive tone or attitude that the author is taking towards a particular topic or subject, okay? So, blah, 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 all right? I know that's a lot, okay? But really, again, what I want you doing here is answering this question over here in a complete sentence, and then I want you finding words, okay, and again, these don't need to be long quotes. You just need to show me, where were you in the text when you made this discovery. It's just a way for me to know that you didn't pull this out of your hat. You found this in the text, and a lot of times, guys, these are going to be things that are implied or things that you inferred. They're not going to be necessarily direct things, okay? And you don't have to explain it here, but you do have to show me this is where you were when you made this discovery, and that's why I call them discovery quotes, okay? Remember, you also have my example over here, and as the instructions share, all right, for the success criteria, I would like you to highlight the word or words in your quotes for purpose and tone that show how you arrived at that. Okay. All right. So this is what I want you to keep in mind with all of this. This is our first go. Okay. And so I just want you to give an honest attempt. All right. I want you to reach out when you need help. Okay. And so let's dig into this today. I chose this topic because I'm trying to find something that's relevant, okay? And I would have to think that some of you, most of you, hopefully find some relevance in whether or not teachers are providing opportunities for retakes, okay? And I thought it would be kind of interesting perhaps for you to see some of the um, arguments behind why teachers do or why they don't. Tomorrow, we're going to read a response to this specific article with a teacher's different perspective on why or on why we should give retakes. Okay, so with that, I hopefully I got through everything. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. All right. I think you've got enough to get started. You know you always have the opportunity to ask for help, and you also hopefully know that the worst that can happen here is you're just going to get better, right? And so don't worry about making mistakes. Make some mistakes, learn from your mistakes, and we're just going to move forward. Okie dokie. Happy Thursday, my friends.